Sometimes the people we carry the longest are the ones who never learned to hold us back. We spend years bending, believing patience will be rewarded, that loyalty will be seen. But some doors only open after we stop knocking. May you find the strength to walk away from what no longer serves you, and the clarity to recognize your worth before someone else decides it for you. If this story resonates with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. Now let me tell you about a woman who discovered her value on the same day her husband decided she had none. The suitcase sits open on the bed, half packed, his side empty. She folds another shirt, his shirt, and sets it inside, smoothing the fabric flat even though he won't care. Even though he's standing in the doorway watching her do it with his arms crossed and his jaw set like she's doing something wrong. You don't have to do that, she keeps folding. I'm saying you don't have to pack for me. Her hands pause. She picks up another shirt. Did you hear me? I heard you. She places the shirt in the suitcase. Her fingers press the edges down. The fabric wrinkles anyway. He shifts his weight. The floor creaks. I'll finish it myself. She steps back. Her hands drop to her sides. He moves to the bed and pulls the suitcase toward him, re-zipping the section she just filled, tugging the zipper hard enough that it catches. He forces it. The teeth separate and hold. She watches his hands. When does your flight leave? 7. You'll need to leave by 5. I know. She nods. He doesn't look at her. The room feels smaller than it did this morning. The walls the same. The light the same. But the air sits differently now, pressed thin, like something's been removed and the space hasn't adjusted yet. He rezips the other pocket, then stops. We should talk. She waits. He doesn't turn around. I mean actually talk, not like this. Okay. He zips the suitcase closed, lifts it off the bed, sets it upright on the floor. The wheels click into place. Downstairs, he says. He walks past her. She smells his cologne, the same one he's worn for 3 years, the same one she bought him last Christmas because he mentioned once in passing that he liked it. She follows him down the hallway. Her footsteps sound louder than his, though she's lighter, though she's trying not to make noise. The stairs creak under her weight in places they never creak under his. He's already in the kitchen when she reaches the bottom. The papers are on the counter. White, neat, stacked. She stops in the doorway. He's standing beside them, not touching them, hands in his pockets. He's looking at the window, not at her, not at the papers. I had them drawn up last week. Her chest tightens. She doesn't move. I was going to wait until I got back, but he shakes his head. I don't know. It felt worse, dragging it out. She looks at the papers. The top page has lines, signatures, spaces, legal text she can't read from here but doesn't need to. Divorce papers, she says. Yeah. The word sits between them. She steps into the kitchen. Her hands feel wrong, too empty. She folds them together. Is there someone else? No. Then why? Because I can't do this anymore. She stops. He still won't look at her. Do what? This. He gestures vaguely at the room, at her, at the space they're standing in. You. Us. I can't keep pretending it's working. I didn't know you were pretending. That's the problem. Her throat closes. She swallows. What does that mean? He finally turns. His face is calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that comes after a decision's already made, after the hard part is over for him, after he's practiced this in his head enough times that the words come smooth. You're not enough, Sarah. The name lands wrong. He never calls her Sarah. Always Sar. Always something softer. You're kind. You're patient. You try, but it's not enough. I need more than this. More than what? More than... He stops, looks at her. You don't challenge me. You don't push me. You just exist. And I can't build a life on that. She feels her hands tighten, nails pressing into her palms. I've been building a life with you for 5 years. No, you've been supporting my life. That's not the same thing. You said that's what you needed. I did. And you gave it. But I need a partner, not a support system. I am your partner. You're not. His voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. You're my assistant. My backup. The person who makes sure I don't forget things. That's not a marriage. Her pulse is in her throat now. Her face feels hot. You told me. I know what I told you. You said you needed me to handle things. You said your career couldn't survive if I wasn't holding everything together. And you did. You held it together. But that's all you did. She stares at him. He picks up a pen from the counter, clicks it once, sets it down on top of the papers. I'm not trying to hurt you. Then don't do this. I have to. Why? Because I met someone. The room tilts. She grabs the edge of the counter. You said there wasn't someone else. There isn't. Not like that. Not yet. He exhales. But there could be. And I can't even explore that while I'm still here. It wouldn't be fair. Fair to who? To her. To me. He pauses. To you. She laughs. It comes out sharp. Wrong. You're leaving me for someone you haven't even started anything with, and you think that's fair to me? I'm leaving because I don't love you anymore. Silence. She hears the fridge hum, the clock tick, her own breath moving in and out. When? She asks. When what? When did you stop? He looks at the papers. I don't know. A year, maybe. Maybe longer. And you didn't say anything. I thought it would come back. Did you try? I'm here, aren't I? You're leaving. Because it didn't come back. He rubs his face. Look, I don't want to do this the hard way. I'm not trying to take anything from you. The house is yours, the car. I'm not asking for anything except a clean break. I don't want the house. Then sell it. I want you to stay. I can't. She feels something crack in her chest. Not break. Crack. Like ice under weight. Please. Sarah. Don't call me that. He stops. You don't get to call me that anymore. Not like this. He nods slowly. Okay. She looks at the papers again. Her vision blurs. She blinks it clear. Do I have to sign today? No. You can take time. I just wanted you to have them. Before you left? Yeah. She nods. Her hands are shaking now. She presses them flat against the counter. I need you to leave. I have a flight at... I know, but I need you to go now. Pack the rest yourself. I can't... Her voice breaks. She stops. Breathes. I can't be here while you do it. He hesitates. Then he nods. Okay. He walks past her. She doesn't watch him go. She hears his footsteps on the stairs, the bedroom door closing, drawers opening. She stands in the kitchen, hands on the counter, staring at the papers she hasn't touched. The pen sits on top, black ink, his name already signed at the bottom. She picks it up, holds it, sets it down. Then she turns and walks out the front door. The air outside is cooler than she expected. She didn't grab a jacket, didn't grab her phone. Didn't grab anything. She's wearing jeans and a t-shirt and the sneakers she slipped on this morning when she thought the day would be normal, when she thought packing his suitcase meant he'd come home. She walks, no direction, just away. The neighborhood is quiet. It's Tuesday. Most people are at work. The lawns are green and even. The driveway's empty except for the occasional second car no one drives during the week. She passes the Hendersons' house. The Claytons. The new couple whose names she doesn't know, because they moved in 3 months ago and she never introduced herself because he said they'd do it together. And then they never did. Her hands are still shaking. She shoves them into her pockets. Her breath is coming too fast. She slows down, forces it even. He doesn't love her, hasn't loved her, for a year, maybe longer. She kept the house running, kept his schedule, kept everything smooth and invisible so he could focus on work, on his career, on the things that mattered to him. And it wasn't enough. She wasn't enough. She stops walking. There's a park at the end of the street, small, just a bench and a patch of grass and a tree that drops leaves every fall that no one rakes because it's public property and the city only comes once a month. She sits on the bench. The wood is rough under her legs, splintered in places. She doesn't care. She pulls her knees up, wraps her arms around them, and she cries. Not loud, not dramatic, just small, quiet tears that come and don't stop, that soak into her jeans and dry on her cheeks and start again. She doesn't know how long she sits there. Long enough for the sun to shift. Long enough for her legs to go numb. Long enough for the sound of a car pulling up behind her to register as unusual. She doesn't turn around. Footsteps approach. Slow. Deliberate. She wipes her face with the back of her hand. Mrs. Dalton? She doesn't recognize the voice. She turns. A man stands a few feet away. Older. 60s maybe. Suit. Dark. Expensive but understated. He's holding a briefcase in one hand and his expression is careful. Neutral. I'm sorry to intrude. She stares at him. My name is Richard Calloway. I'm an attorney with Hastings and Lowe. She shakes her head. I don't need a lawyer. I'm not here to solicit your business. He pauses. I'm here on behalf of your mother. Her chest tightens. I don't have a mother. I understand you were estranged. No, I mean I don't have one. She's dead. Yes, he says quietly. I know. I'm very sorry for your loss. She stands. Her legs wobble. She steadies herself against the bench. What do you want? I need to speak with you about her estate. She didn't have an estate. She didn't have anything. Mrs. Dalton. She left when I was 6. I never saw her again. I got one letter when I turned 18 telling me not to look for her. That's it. So whatever you think she had, it's not mine. It was never mine. I understand this is difficult. You don't understand anything. He nods slowly. You're right. I don't. But I do have information you need to hear. I don't want it. Your mother passed 3 weeks ago. She already knew that. She doesn't know how, but she did. Some part of her felt it. A gap. A space that opened and didn't close. Okay. She left instructions. Very specific instructions. And part of those instructions involve you. I don't care. Mrs. Dalton, your mother's estate is valued at just over $2 billion. The world stops. She stares at him. What? $2 billion. Give or take, depending on market fluctuations. It's primarily held in trust, but there are liquid assets, properties, investments. No. I have the documents. No, you're wrong. My mother worked at a diner. She sent me one letter in 12 years. She didn't have billions of dollars. She did. Then why did she leave? The question comes out raw, louder than she meant. Richard's expression softens, just slightly. I don't know. That wasn't included in the briefing I received. But what I do know is that she named you as her sole heir. Everything she owned now belongs to you. She sits back down. Her hands are numb. This isn't real. It is. I don't want it. That's your right, but the estate still exists, and it still requires management. There are decisions that need to be made, paperwork that needs to be signed. He pauses. I can walk you through it. or I can connect you with someone who can. But it won't go away just because you don't want it." She looks at him. He looks back. Patient. "Why now?" she asks. "I'm sorry?" "Why are you telling me now? She died 3 weeks ago? You could have come any time." The will stipulated a delay. Your mother wanted to ensure all affairs were settled before contact was made. That process completed yesterday. "So you just tracked me down?" "Yes." "How?" "You're not hard to find, Mrs. Dalton." She laughs. It sounds brittle. "No, I guess I'm not." Richard shifts his weight. "I don't need an answer today. But I do need to give you this." He sets the briefcase down, opens it, pulls out a folder. He holds it out. She doesn't take it. "What is it?" "An overview. Assets, accounts, properties. Contact information for the financial managers and trustees. Everything you need to begin the process." "I don't want to begin the process." "Then don't. But keep the folder." He sets it on the bench beside her. She stares at it. "There's also a letter," he says. "From your mother. It was sealed. I haven't read it." He pulls a small envelope from his jacket pocket, places it on top of the folder. Her name is written on the front in handwriting she doesn't recognize. "I'll leave you alone now," Richard says. "My card is in the folder. If you have questions, when you have questions, call me. Any time." He picks up his briefcase, closes it. "I'm sorry for your loss," he says again. Then he walks back to his car. She watches him drive away. Then she looks at the envelope. Her hands are still shaking when she picks it up. She doesn't open it. Not yet. She sits on the bench holding the envelope and the folder, staring at nothing, while the sun continues to shift and the air grows colder and her body slowly stops shaking. $2 billion. Her mother had $2 billion. And she left. She left Sarah in a one-bedroom apartment with a father who worked nights and drank mornings and never talked about where she went or why. She left her alone. And now, she's dead. And Sarah's supposed to, what? Be grateful? She stands. Her legs feel steadier now. She tucks the folder under one arm and holds the envelope in her other hand. Then she walks home. The house is quiet when she steps inside. His car is gone. She checks the bedroom anyway. The suitcase is gone. The closet half empty. His toiletries missing from the bathroom. He left. She stands in the doorway of their bedroom, her bedroom now, and feels the absence of him like a weight removed she didn't know she was carrying. The papers are still on the kitchen counter. She walks past them, sets the folder on the dining table, sits down, opens the envelope. "Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for a lot of things. I won't insult you with excuses. I left because I thought it would protect you. I was wrong. I stayed away because I thought it would hurt less. I was wrong about that too. I built something big, something that required all of me. And I gave it all of me, because if I didn't, I'd have had to come home. And I couldn't. Not after what I'd done. The money is yours. The properties, the businesses, all of it. Do with it what you want. Build something. Burn it. Give it away. I don't care. It was only ever a way to avoid the one thing I couldn't fix. You deserved better than me. You deserved better than the life I gave you. I hope you find it." Your mother, Sarah, sets the letter down. Her hands aren't shaking anymore. She feels calm, empty, but calm. She opens the folder. The first page is a summary. Estate of Victoria Langford total assets, $247,392,188. So she scans the list. Real estate in 8 countries. Controlling shares in 4 companies, trusts, bonds, investments, a private account with $63 million in liquid cash. She flips the page. Properties. A penthouse in New York, a estate in Monaco, a villa in Tuscany. She stops reading, looks at the divorce papers on the counter, then back at the folder, and something shifts. Not grief, not anger, something colder. She picks up her phone, dials. It rings twice. Mrs. Dalton? Richard's voice is calm, professional. I need you to do something for me. Of course. I need access to the liquid account today. That can be arranged. How much do you need? All of it. A pause. All 63 million? Yes. May I ask what for? No. Another pause. Understood. I'll have the transfer paperwork ready within the hour. Where should I send it? She gives him the address. Thank you, Mrs. Dalton. She hangs up. Then she picks up the pen from the counter, and she signs the divorce papers. The paperwork arrives by courier at 4:47 p.m. Sarah signs it at the dining table, her hand steady, her mind clear. By 5:15, Richard calls to confirm the transfer is complete. $63 million in her account. Hers. She hangs up and stares at her phone. At the banking app she opens and closes 3 times just to make sure the number is real. It's real. She sets the phone down, picks up the folder again, flips to the section marked Properties. The New York penthouse is listed first. Address, square footage, estimated value. She pulls out her laptop, searches the building, looks at photos, floor-to-ceiling windows, Manhattan skyline, doorman, concierge, private elevator. She's never been to New York. She's barely left the state. She keeps scrolling. The Monaco estate, the Tuscany villa, a cottage in Scotland, a beach house in Malibu. Places she's never seen. Lives she never lived. She closes the laptop, stands, walks to the bedroom, opens her closet. Her clothes are still there. Plain. Practical. The kind of wardrobe built for someone who doesn't go anywhere. She pulls out a suitcase, starts packing. She's folding a sweater when her phone buzzes. A text. From him. Landed. I'll call you tomorrow to check in. She stares at the message, reads it twice, then deletes it, blocks the number. She finishes packing. The Uber arrives at 7:32 a.m. She's already dressed, hair pulled back, jeans, white shirt, jacket, the same sneakers from yesterday. She loads her suitcase into the trunk, slides into the back seat. Airport? The driver asks. Yes. He pulls away from the curb. She doesn't look back. The private terminal is different from the main airport. Quieter, smaller, no lines. A woman in a dark suit greets her at the entrance. Mrs. Dalton? Yes. Right this way. She's led through a lounge, leather chairs, soft lighting, coffee station, and out onto the tarmac. A plane waits, small, sleek, white with dark trim. The woman gestures toward the stairs. Your pilot is ready when you are. Sarah climbs the steps. Inside, the cabin is compact but pristine. Cream leather seats, polished wood accents. A flight attendant stands near the galley. Good morning, Mrs. Dalton. Can I get you anything before we take off? No, thank you. She sits, buckles in. The attendant disappears into the cockpit. 5 minutes later, the plane is moving. Sarah watches the ground fall away, watches her neighborhood shrink, watches the city become grid lines, and then nothing. She leans back, closes her eyes, and for the first time in 5 years, she doesn't think about what she should be doing. She just breathes. The penthouse is on the 43rd floor. The elevator opens directly into the entryway. Richard is waiting. Mrs. Dalton. Welcome. She steps out. Her suitcase rolls behind her. I wasn't expecting you to be here. I thought you might have questions. She nods. He gestures toward the living room. Shall we? She follows him. The space is massive. Open floor plan. White walls. Marble floors. Furniture that looks expensive and untouched. Windows line the far wall, offering a view of the city she's only ever seen in photos. She walks toward them, stops a few feet away. "It's a lot," Richard says quietly. "Yeah. If you'd like, I can walk you through the estate in more detail, help you understand what you're working with." She turns. "I know what I'm working with." "Of course." He pauses. "What would you like to do first?" "I want to understand how she built this." "Your mother?" "Yes." Richard sets his briefcase on the coffee table, opens it, pulls out another folder. Victoria Langford started with nothing. She built her first company at 23, sold it at 30 for $200 million, invested in real estate and technology, repeated the process. By the time she was 40, she was a billionaire. By 50, she'd tripled it. And no one knew. She valued privacy, operated through holding companies and trusts, stayed out of the press. Why? I don't know. Sarah looks at the folder. What else? She was methodical, strategic. Every investment was calculated, every risk measured. He pauses. She didn't make mistakes. Except one. Richard doesn't answer. Sarah sits on the couch. The leather is soft, cold. "What happens now?" "That's up to you. The estate is yours. You can liquidate, invest, expand, or simply maintain. I don't know how to do any of that. You don't have to. You have managers, advisors, people who've been running these companies for years, people who worked for her. Yes. Do they know about me? Not yet. I've kept the transition private until you were ready." She nods slowly. "I want to meet them. I can arrange that. Today." Richard hesitates. "That's aggressive." "I don't care." He studies her, then nods. "I'll make the calls." The first meeting is at 2 p.m., a conference room in a building 10 blocks away. Sarah arrives early. Richard walks her through security, up a private elevator, into a glass-walled office with a view of the Hudson. 3 people wait inside. 2 men, 1 woman. They stand when she enters. Richard makes introductions. "Mrs. Dalton, this is Jonathan Pierce, CFO of Langford Holdings, Catherine Nguyen, Chief Legal Counsel, and David Brennan, Head of Acquisitions." They shake hands. She sits. They sit. Thank you for meeting on short notice," Sarah says. "Of course," Jonathan says. He's older, gray hair, sharp suit. "We were sorry to hear about Victoria. She was—" "I don't need condolences." He stops. "I need information," Sarah continues. "I need to know what I'm inheriting and how it works." Catherine leans forward. "We've prepared a briefing. It covers the primary holdings, current valuations, and operational structures." "Good. Start there." For the next 2 hours, they walk her through it. The companies, the revenue streams, the portfolios. Sarah listens, asks questions, takes notes. By the end, her head is spinning, but she understands the basics. She owns 4 companies. Langford Holdings, the parent company. Meridian Tech, software and AI development. Crescent Real Estate, commercial and residential properties. Vault Capital, private equity and venture investments. Combined, they generate over $300 million in annual profit. "What do you need from me?" Sarah asks. Jonathan exchanges a glance with Catherine. "Right now, nothing. The companies run themselves. We report quarterly. You review, approve, that's it. And if I want to make changes, then we advise. You decide." Sarah nods. "I want weekly reports, not quarterly." Jonathan hesitates. "That's non-negotiable." "Understood. And I want access to everything, financials, personnel files, meeting notes. If it exists, I see it." Catherine shifts. "Some of that information is sensitive." "I don't care. Mrs. Dalton, it's my company now, my money, my risk. I want transparency." Catherine nods slowly. "We'll make it happen." "Good." Sarah stands. Thank you for your time. They stand as well. She shakes hands again. Then she leaves. Richard walks her back to the penthouse. They don't speak in the elevator. When they reach the 43rd floor, he pauses before leaving. You handled that well. Did I? Better than most would have? She looks at him. They think I'm in over my head. Probably. Are they right? I don't know yet. She almost smiles. At least you're honest. It's the least I can do. He steps into the elevator. Call me if you need anything. The doors close. Sarah turns, walks to the windows. The city stretches out below her. Light starting to flicker on as the sun sets. She presses her hand against the glass. It's cold. She stays there until the sky goes dark. The first week passes in a blur. Meetings, calls, briefings. Sarah learns the names of people she'll never meet, learns the structures of businesses she doesn't fully understand, learns how to nod and ask questions and look like she belongs in rooms where everyone else has decades of experience. She doesn't sleep much. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees him, standing in their kitchen, telling her she's not enough. She gets up, works, reads reports until her eyes burn. By the end of the week, she's memorized the org charts for all 4 companies, knows the revenue streams, knows the risks. She's also made her first decision. She calls Richard. I want to sell Crescent Real Estate. May I ask why? It's underperforming, and I don't care about real estate. Understood. I'll start the process. How long? 6 months, maybe less. I want it done in 3. That will lower the sale price. I don't care. Mrs. Dalton, 3 months, Richard. A pause. I'll make it happen. She hangs up. Looks at the next file on her desk. Meridian Tech. She opens it, starts reading. The sale of Crescent Real Estate closes in 11 weeks, $840 million. Sarah doesn't celebrate. She reinvests half into Meridian Tech, uses the other half to fund a new venture Catherine's team proposed 3 months ago and Victoria rejected. A sustainability-focused housing initiative. Affordable. Scalable. Profitable. Sarah greenlights it. The board pushes back. She overrides them. It's my money, she says during the call. My risk. We're doing it. No one argues after that. 3 months after she arrived in New York, Sarah gets a call from an unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. Then she does. Hello? Sar? She freezes. His voice. How did you get this number? I called the house. The new owners gave me your lawyer's office. They forwarded me. She exhales slowly. What do you want? I wanted to check in. See how you're doing. I'm fine. Are you still in town? I thought maybe we could meet up. Talk. No. Sar, don't call me that. A pause. Okay. Sarah, I just thought, I signed the papers. It's done. There's nothing to talk about. I know I'm not trying to. He stops. I heard you moved. You heard wrong. The house sold. Yes. Where are you living? That's not your business. I'm just asking. And I'm just saying no. Silence. Then, are you seeing someone? She laughs, short, sharp. Goodbye. Wait. She hangs up, blocks the number. Her hands are shaking again. She sets the phone down, walks to the window, presses her forehead against the glass, breathes. That night she can't sleep. She gets up, pours a glass of water, sits on the couch in the dark. Her laptop is on the coffee table. She opens it, types his name into the search bar, finds his social media. He hasn't posted much. A few photos from his trip, a sunset, a beach, a restaurant. Then, 2 weeks ago, a photo of him with a woman, blonde, smiling, her hand on his arm. The caption reads, New Beginnings. Sarah stares at it. She doesn't feel anything. No anger, no sadness, just nothing. She closes the laptop, goes back to bed. This time, she sleeps. 4 months in, Sarah makes her second major decision. She fires David Brennan. He's been skimming. Not much. Just enough that he thought she wouldn't notice. But she did. Catherine brings her the evidence during their weekly call. "How long has this been happening?" Sarah asks. "At least 2 years. Possibly longer. Why didn't my mother stop it? I don't know. Maybe she didn't know. Or maybe she didn't care." Catherine doesn't respond. "Fire him," Sarah says, "and press charges. That will be public. Good. It could damage the company's reputation." "Not as much as letting it continue would." Catherine nods. "I'll handle it." The story breaks 3 days later. Sarah's name stays out of it. But the company's doesn't. The stock dips, then recovers. 2 weeks later, Jonathan calls. "The board wants to meet with you." "Why?" "They're concerned." "About what?" "Your decision-making." Sarah almost laughs. "Tell them I'll think about it." "Mrs. Dalton," I said I'll think about it. She hangs up. She doesn't think about it. 6 months after arriving in New York, Sarah attends her first public event. A gala, charity, black tie. Catherine insisted. "You need to be seen," she said. Victoria stayed hidden. "You can't. Not if you want to maintain control." Sarah didn't argue. She bought a dress. Black, simple, expensive. Had her hair done. Wore heels she's still not used to. The car picks her up at 7. The venue is a hotel ballroom in Midtown. She arrives alone. A photographer snaps her picture as she walks in. She doesn't smile. Inside the room is full. People in suits and gowns, champagne, quiet conversation. She recognizes a few faces from the briefings, CEOs, investors, board members. No one approaches her. She's fine with that. She finds a table near the back, sits. A waiter brings her wine. She doesn't drink it. "Excuse me?" She looks up. A man stands beside her table. Tall, mid-40s, well-dressed. "I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm James Kaplan." She doesn't recognize the name. "Sarah Dalton." "I know." He smiles. "I've been hoping to meet you." "Why?" "I'm with Helix Ventures. We've been tracking Meridian Tech for a while. Impressive growth." "Thank you. I'd love to discuss a potential partnership." "I'm not interested." He blinks. "You haven't heard the offer." "I don't need to." "Mrs. Dalton, I'm not here to network. I'm here because my lawyer told me I had to be. If you want to discuss business, call my office." She stands, walks away. She can feel him watching her. She doesn't care. She leaves the gala 20 minutes later. Catherine calls the next morning. "You made an impression?" "I wasn't trying to. James Kaplan called me. He wants to set up a formal meeting." "Tell him no. He's offering a very favorable deal." I said no. Catherine pauses. "May I ask why?" "Because I don't trust people who approach me at parties." "Fair enough." Sarah hangs up. She's learning. 7 months in, the Sustainability Housing Initiative launches. The press coverage is positive. Sarah doesn't do interviews, but Catherine does. And the company's profile rises. Stock prices climb. Revenue projections increase. The board stops questioning her decisions. She doesn't feel victorious. She just feels tired. It's 8 months before she goes back. Not to the house, that's gone, but to the city. She flies commercial this time, sits in first class, wears sunglasses and headphones and doesn't talk to anyone. When she lands, she rents a car, drives to the old neighborhood, parks across the street from where the house used to be, where their house used to be. A new family lives there now. There are toys in the yard, a swing set, a dog. She watches for a few minutes. Then she drives away. She doesn't know why she came. Maybe to prove she could. Maybe to feel something. She doesn't. She drives to the airport, flies back to New York. 9 months in, Richard calls with news. We've been approached. By who? A consortium. They want to buy Meridian Tech. For how much? $1.4 billion. Sarah sets down her coffee. That's more than it's worth. On paper, yes, but they see the potential. Who are they? Tech investors. Based in Silicon Valley. Very reputable. Do you trust them? I trust their money. She almost smiles. What do you think I should do? That's not my call. I'm asking anyway. He's quiet for a moment. I think you should consider it. You've grown the company, proven yourself. This would set you up for life. Multiple lives. I'm already set up. Then think of it as freedom. She leans back in her chair, looks out the window. I'll think about it. Take your time. She hangs up, but she doesn't think about it. She already knows the answer. She calls Richard back 3 days later. I'm not selling. May I ask why? Because I'm not done yet. Done with what? Building. He doesn't argue. Understood. 10 months in, Sarah gets another call. Different, unknown number. She answers. Hello? Is this Sarah Dalton? A woman's voice. Unfamiliar. Yes? Who is this? My name is Angela Torres. I'm a reporter with the Financial Journal. Sarah's stomach tightens. I'm not interested in interviews. I'm not calling for an interview. I'm calling to give you a heads up. About what? We're running a story tomorrow about your late mother and you. What kind of story? An expose. Victoria Langford's secret life, her hidden fortune, and the daughter she abandoned who now controls it all. Sarah's hand tightens around the phone. How did you find this? Public records, financial filings. It wasn't hard. I've kept everything private. You can't keep $2 billion private forever. Sarah closes her eyes. What do you want? Nothing. Like I said, I'm just giving you a heads up. The story runs tomorrow at 6 a.m. Can you kill it? No. Can you delay it? No. Sarah exhales. Then why call? Because I'm not trying to destroy you. I'm just doing my job, and I thought you deserved to know. She hangs up. Sarah sits in silence. Then she calls Catherine. We have a problem? The story runs at 6:03 a.m. By 6:30, Sarah's phone is flooded. Emails, texts, calls. She ignores them all. By noon, her face is on 3 major news sites. The Secret Heiress, how Sarah Dalton inherited a fortune and disappeared. Victoria Langford's hidden daughter takes over billion-dollar empire. From housewife to CEO, the woman you've never heard of. She reads the articles. They're accurate, mostly. They talk about her marriage, the divorce, her mother's death. They call her reclusive, mysterious, calculated. One article speculates she's been planning this for years. Another suggests she's in over her head. She closes her laptop, walks to the window. The city looks the same, but she knows it's not. Everything just changed. Catherine calls at 2. Have you seen it? Yes. How do you want to handle this? I don't. Sarah, I'm serious. I'm not responding. I'm not doing interviews. I'm not releasing statements. The silence will make it worse. I don't care. The board will. Then let them complain. Catherine sighs. Okay, but you should prepare for more attention. This isn't going away. I know. She hangs up, sits on the couch, and for the first time in months, she lets herself cry. The attention doesn't fade. For 2 weeks, she's the subject of think pieces and speculation. People dissect her mother's life, her own. They talk about wealth and privilege and responsibility. They call her lucky, spoiled, undeserving. She doesn't respond. She just works. And eventually, the news cycle moves on. 11 months in, Sarah makes her 3rd major decision. She's going to expand. Not just maintain. Not just manage. Build. She calls Jonathan. I want to acquire a company. What kind of company? Tech. AI focused. something with growth potential. Do you have a target? Not yet. But I want options by the end of the week. Understood. He delivers. She reviews 12 proposals, narrows it to 3, chooses one. A startup called Beacon AI. Small, scrappy, promising. She buys it for $90 million. The board questions the decision. She doesn't care. 6 months later, Beacon's valuation triples. The board stops questioning her. 1 year after she left, Sarah gets a text from an unknown number. I saw the articles. I'm sorry. I didn't know. She stares at it. Knows who it's from. She types a response. You knew exactly who I was. You just didn't care. She deletes it. Blocks the number. Keeps moving. 14 months in, Sarah does her first interview. Catherine arranged it. A podcast. Low-key. Focused on business and leadership. Sarah agrees on one condition. No personal questions. The host agrees. The interview airs 3 weeks later. Sarah listens to it once. She sounds calm, confident, in control. She barely recognizes herself. 16 months in, Sarah returns to the gala. Same venue, same charity. This time, people approach her. They want to talk, network, partner. She's polite, but she doesn't commit to anything. Halfway through the night, she sees him, across the room, talking to a woman in red, the same woman from his photo. Their eyes meet. He freezes. She doesn't. She turns, walks toward the exit. He follows. Sarah, wait. She stops, turns. What? He looks at her. I didn't know you'd be here. Neither did I. Can we talk? No. Please, just 5 minutes. I don't have 5 minutes. I'm sorry. The words come fast, desperate. For everything. For how I treated you. For leaving. I was wrong. Yes, you were. I didn't know. About your mother? About the money? It wouldn't have mattered. It would have. She looks at him. Really looks. He's thinner. Tired. The confidence he used to carry like armor is gone. You left because I wasn't enough, she says quietly. Not because I didn't have money. Because I wasn't the person you wanted me to be. I was wrong about that too. Maybe. I was. Sarah, He steps closer. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. And I've been trying to figure out how to fix it. You can't. Let me try. No. Sarah, I'm not the same person you left. I know. No, you don't. She shakes her head. You left me in that house with nothing. And I built something anyway. Not because of you, not in spite of you, without you. And I don't need you now. His face crumples. I still love you. No, you don't. You love the idea of what I became. But you didn't want who I was. She turns. Walks away. This time he doesn't follow. 18 months in, Sarah makes her 4th major decision. She's stepping down, not from ownership, but from day-to-day operations. She hires a CEO for Langford Holdings, someone younger, hungry, brilliant. She stays on as board chair, but she delegates, trusts, steps back. And for the first time in a year and a half, she breathes. 20 months in, Sarah buys a house, not in New York, in Vermont. Small, quiet, near the mountains. She keeps the penthouse. But she spends more time in Vermont, plants a garden, learns to cook, reads books that have nothing to do with business. She's alone, but she's not lonely. 2 years after she left, Sarah gets a letter, handwritten, from him. She almost throws it away, but she opens it. Sarah, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I've spent the last 2 years thinking about what I said to you, about how I treated you, and I've realized something. You were always enough. More than enough. I just wasn't. I was scared. Of commitment. Of building something real. Of being seen. And instead of admitting that, I blamed you. I told myself you weren't ambitious, weren't driven, weren't challenging. But the truth is, you were all of those things. I just couldn't see it. I don't expect you to respond. I don't expect anything. I just needed you to know. I'm sorry. She folds the letter, sets it on the table. Doesn't respond. But she doesn't throw it away either. 2.5 years in. Sarah attends a board meeting. It's routine. Quarterly review, revenue reports, strategic planning. She listens, asks a few questions, approves the proposals. At the end, Jonathan lingers. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you regret it? Any of it?" She thinks. "No." "Not even the hard parts?" "Especially not the hard parts." He nods. "You've done well, Mrs. Dalton." "Thank you." He leaves. She sits alone in the conference room, looks out the window. The city glows in the distance. She thinks about the woman she was, the one who packed his suitcase, who folded his shirts even though he wouldn't care, who cried on a park bench because she thought she wasn't enough. She thinks about the woman she is now, the one who built something, who walked away, who stood in a room full of people who doubted her and proved them wrong. She doesn't know if she's happier, but she's freer. And that's enough. 3 years after she left, Sarah sells Meridian Tech. Not to the consortium, to a nonprofit. One focused on education and access. She takes a loss, doesn't care. The press calls it reckless. She calls it right. 3.5 years in, Sarah starts a foundation, the Victoria Langford Foundation, focused on women who've been abandoned, divorced, left behind. It funds housing, education, business grants. She doesn't run it herself, but she funds it fully. 4 years after she left, Sarah goes back one last time to the park bench, the one where Richard found her. She sits, looks at the tree, the grass, the splintered wood beneath her. She thinks about that day, how small she felt, how broken. She doesn't feel that way anymore. She stands, walks back to her car, drives away. She never goes back again. 5 years after she left, Sarah wakes up in Vermont. The sun is rising. The house is quiet. She makes coffee, sits on the porch, looks at the mountains. She's $53 million poorer than she was. She's given most of it away. What's left is hers, and it's enough. She sips her coffee, watches the light shift, and she smiles, not because she's happy, but because she's here, and that's all she ever needed to be. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Mr. Douglas Tales, where powerful stories unfold one moment at a time.